I took like two good sips. But like if I would have grabbed that one in the beginning, I would have had to drink the whole thing. Dude, my stomach was on fire, bro. Like, yeah,
Just off
no,
the
no.
two sips, right?
Yeah, yeah. Kyle is not trying wasabi back home. We ain't doing that.
All right. I'd like to welcome to the Love in Reality podcast from Million Dollar Secret. Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Ricky. And how yourself, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to chat with you. I love the energy, and it's kind of crazy. And I'm going to touch on this later just because I feel like there's some funny coincidence here. But the Kyle I felt like we saw on the show and the Kyle that I've seen kind of in roaming the world now, as you can see, almost felt like two different players. And it's almost like I can understand it because you're playing a unique game in Million Dollar Secret, but it also wants me to like unpack some things that maybe we didn't see on Million Dollar Secret, right? So let's take everyone back before the show. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. Tell us a little bit about you before you hit those doors on Million Dollar Secret.
So yeah, just a good old boy from South Louisiana, born and raised. Kind of before the show, just living normal life, man. Working my 9 to 5 blue collar job, hanging out with friends on the weekend. Going out to the lake. Going on trips. Just all the normal stuff.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Obviously, Million Dollar Secret has taken the world by storm, which I have been on record saying that I think it's even shocked Netflix how popular this show has become because it was in the top 5, top 3, top 2, in and out throughout the entirety of the show's run. How did the casting process come about for you?
Yeah, man. So my casting process actually goes back to about 2019, early 2020-ish. Um, and a lot of people are like, oh, like, where did you see the application for the show at? Well, for me, I never applied to anything. I never started out on my own. So it came to me. So about back in 2019 or so, me and my best friend, we used to host mud run events where people would take their four wheeler side by side, we lift them up, jack them up, put big tires on them, and see who can drive the fastest through the mud hole. Really big in the South. But anyway, Discovery Channel wanted to do a show about it. So with me and my friend kind of being in the industry and kind of putting on events, they had reached out to him, which indirectly got drawn me in. We start the interview process, and then one day we just never heard anything again. Never. Just months went by, never heard anything. Um, but I think what happened is once you're kind of like in the casting world, because like man, you have I think one form I maybe had like 600 questions on it that I answered or something. Like they get personal in there, to say the least. But for whatever reason, we never got a call back. So then after that, about every 12 months or so, from about 2019 to beginning of 2024, I would get a call to do a show. Probably somewhere, I don't know, about 6, 7 shows, give or take. And a lot of them were survival shows where, hey, we're going to drop you off in the wilderness and you got to survive. One of them was actually another Netflix show, Squid Games: The Challenge. Um, so and for whatever reason, there's 1,000 reasons why shows don't happen, right? Like either don't get picked, funding gets pulled, blah blah blah, whatever. So up until up until 2024, a lot of shows never happened for me. So January 2024, took a month off of work. Me and my buddies are on a hunting trip. Uh, so while we're hunting, I get a call from my casting producer, and I'm like, I'm with the boys. I'm on vacation. We'll answer it later. So I didn't answer it. Forgot to call back. Next day, same thing. Next day, same thing. Happened for like 3, 4 days. Uh, then it eventually just got to the point where now they're texting me, emailing me. This basically spanned over a month. I basically ghosted them for a month, to say the least. I just didn't respond at all. Uh, and it wasn't being rude. And I wasn't trying to be rude. It was just like I'm on vacation with my boys, and so many shows never happen. So like in my head, I'm just like, yeah, well, it's another show that's probably not going to happen anyway, so it's probably fine. So a month passed by. I go back home, back in day to day life. My best friend calls me. So he also knows the casting producer too. So they call him, hey, what's Kyle doing? Did he change his number? What's going on? So then my buddy calls me and he's like, dude, you got to call these people back. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, okay,
They're
I'll
hunting
call
you
them
down
back.
like they're the repo man.
Yeah, they're hunting me down like I'm a millionaire. So I'm like, okay, let's call him back. Call him back. And basically is, man, like, I think you're the perfect fit for this show. I know a lot of shows haven't gone for you. Like, man, I really think if you go through this and you say you want to do it, it's a good chance it's going to happen. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we'll do it. Like, I'm not, you know, in the back of my head, I'm still thinking like, this is I've heard this before, right? So yeah, like literally all the way until like the very end, I it was just kind of like, man, like it just doesn't feel like it's gonna happen. And then one day I get the call and it's like, it's my cousin who's like, yo, I'm like, what's up? And he's like, oh, by the way, you're gonna be on the show. And I'm like super casual. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, bro. And I'm like, dude, that's sick. And then the rest is history.
You're like, put me on a flight, and that's when I'll believe that I'm actually on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Put me on a flight, brother. No, send me the tickets, the confirmations of the tickets.
Exactly. Man, that's crazy journey. I mean, it is crazy how like, you kind of just enter the foray and then it's like at some point in time we're gonna find you and we're gonna put you on the show. And I enjoy that aspect of it. All right, set the stage for us, right? A little behind the scenes look as you're getting ready for day one, as we're probably getting strapped up with the microphones and all of this. I know the whole situation. You're kind of blindfolded. Take us behind what's going through your head as you're preparing to enter those first minutes into the game.
Ooh, well, okay. So basically the best way I can explain this is take almost every single human emotion and on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, just go ahead and just max them all out. Just max every single one. Totally anxiety, nerves, happiness, excitement, all of it combined, max them out. That's literally how I felt. Like it was the most insane thing. Cause like, dude, I'm just a normal guy. Like, right. Like I've never, especially like the cameras, like when they took that blindfold off and I saw all these cameras surrounding me, I was like, what did I get myself into? I'm not used to this. So yeah, the feelings were insane. I never felt anything like that before in my whole life.
This is a fun one. I don't think I've asked any of the other contestants that I've asked so far. So when you first find out about the $1 million going to be in some sort of in sort of your box, right? You know what I mean? That's what you know is going to happen. Talk to me about the first time you're opening that box and the money's not in there. What's going through your head?
So at that moment when we open our boxes for the very first time, I mean, so like obviously like at that point like we don't really know the game, right? So like in my head, like I don't know, is it good to get the money first? Is it good to not have it? Like I don't really know. But when I opened it I kind of had a sigh of relief because I'm like, okay, like I don't immediately have to just walk out there and just start like defending myself as a millionaire, right? Like I don't have the money, so that's good. I think like I don't know in that moment, but it's like I think it's good because now I can kind of like I can be out the spotlight a little bit, especially in the beginning, and kind of meet these people, see what's happening, and then maybe see how whoever is the millionaire is operating. So then I can maybe take some of that knowledge and use it for myself.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting game of strategy. And then, of course, whenever you hear about these agendas, right? How much did that shift your gameplay and your alertness and awareness at all times, understanding that any given moment, the person next to you could be trying to do an agenda to complete their mission?
Yeah, so whenever we found out about agendas, I was like, oh my gosh. And honestly, I'm pretty sure when we found out about them, Peter was like, so Peter told us that they existed, and then he was like, oh, and by the way, the millionaire's already been given their agenda. So it's just like, dude, like, did it already happen? Like, I didn't even notice it. Like, and then yeah, my alertness definitely went up, right? Because it's like, the agendas are these such subtle things, but like at the time, we didn't even know what they were. Like, we didn't know what it could ever even be. We literally didn't know anything. But we all kind of had the gist that it was super subtle because no one was really noticing certain things. Like for example, like I like to use this one because I fell for this one. Like it was bad. It was Lauren's agenda when she had to hug people. Like being from the South, I'm a big hugger, man. Like that's how I greet people. Like I hug people when I see them and I hug them when I leave. Like so, like yeah, I'm like hell yeah, I hug everybody. Let's go. Like you know what I'm saying. So yeah, man, the agenda's definitely put me on my toes for sure.
Was it fun kind of watching that element of the show back to see some of the people fall for it the same way that you kind of even like the just the hug or the song lyrics? Because obviously some of those you weren't a part of. You know what I mean? Was it kind of fun to watch those back and see those agendas play out the way they did?
Oh, it was so fun watching the agendas because, like, number one, like I didn't know what some of them even were, and just yeah, like you mentioned, like watching back and seeing like all of us fall for them like so easy, especially in the beginning. Now towards the end, like we started to kind of catch on, but like in the beginning, like watching everybody, including myself, fall for them, I'm like, oh my gosh, like how did I not notice that? But it's easy when it's a lot easier when you're the viewer because you get everyone's perspective, like you know what's going on, but like in the moment in the game, you only know what you know right then. So yeah, watching it back and seeing the agendas, the yeah, I was kind of mad at myself at a few of them, but I got for sure a few times.
Well, it's funny because like during one of your sit down interviews, like you're interviewing, like you're talking to the camera, you hear this like massive scream in the background. So like you turned around and that was I'm pretty sure it was you turn around and you see the agendas kind of playing out. That was the Phil's agenda where he's getting everybody to scream. So it was definitely interesting to kind of watch that. But one of the things that stood out to me about you as a person as I'm watching the show was watching you kind of defend Say Young about how Phil kind of treated her at that dinner. What kind of made you stand up in that moment? I'm assuming it's probably that Southern hospitality, treating people right, but I felt like it kind of showed a little bit about your character in that moment.
Yeah, well, look, it's a reality show, and we're playing for $1 million, right? Like things are going to get heated. Like it's gonna happen. And just like just like in that moment, like yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it's probably kind of linked to kind of like being that from the South and how we treat people down here, and it was just I don't know, it was just kind of like a defense instinct. Like I just sometimes I just feel like I have to defend people. Like I don't know what it is in me, but sometimes like I want to stick up for people, right? And then on the opposite side of that, and now I'm looking at Phil because I'm like, up until this point, Phil ain't never acted like this. So like, you know, is like so I to myself, I'm like, damn, like, is he the millionaire or not? So like, there was kind of two sides of that.
There was, and that's the interesting thing. So early on, I don't remember it, but Lauren, did you ever ping Lauren as the millionaire? And then on the
No.
flip side, Phil, I do think you pinged as the millionaire, and you later on you do earmark Sam as well. How important was it to figure out who the millionaire was in order to kind of strategize your game, even like behind the scenes?
Yeah, so for me, like the way I played the game and or really wanted to was I wanted to get the millionaire out. Like that was the game that I wanted to play. I didn't play that all the time because I just couldn't. Like, for example, the Lauren Sydney vote, right? Like it didn't matter who the millionaire was. Like even if I knew who the millionaire was at that moment and I voted for him, my vote wouldn't have mattered anyway. So like, there was some instances, like I always wanted to get the millionaire out, but there were some instances where it just didn't make sense for me to do that because my vote wouldn't count. Like I'd rather put my vote towards somewhere else where it's actually probably going to count a little more. Um, but yeah, my strategy was always trying to find the millionaire.
I felt like it was the third time was a charm. You were in the trophy room, I think, just about as more than anybody else in the game. But the first two times you went, you didn't get to go. The third time, you were the guy that got to listen to the clue. When you hear the clue, you get the clue. Did you like what was that time frame from the time you get the clue to kind of go out to reveal it? And did you ever think twice about the possibility of lying about the clue that you did get?
Yeah, so I never thought about lying about the clue just because kind of like how you had mentioned before with Phil Scream, I wasn't there. I just heard it, but I didn't know like what happened. I didn't know if that like I just didn't know where it even came from. So um to me the nothing really stood out to me whenever I got the clue. Like nothing was like pinging like, oh like I know who it is or hey, I should lie. So like I just went out and said it just because I was like, okay, well, I don't know what this means, but someone else might. So that's why I went and told the group the clue, and that was unfortunately the end for Phil whenever I said that because I mean even in the show, like looking back at it, whenever I say that, and we're all rattling off movie names, and I say, "What about Scream?" And then as soon as I said that, Sam just starts like busting out laughing in front of Phil's face, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, and then once Sam started laughing, everybody instantly knew. Like, it was just like Phil's in, and I felt so bad for Phil in that moment because I was like, I couldn't imagine what he was going through. Like, he knows, everyone knows, and it's just like, oh my gosh, bro.
Yeah, it was really hard because it was like, man, and it felt as the game went on, the clues became a little bit more in depth and personalities and stuff like that. But I was like, man, my guy got really fast because it was like
Yeah.
scream, scream. Oh, let's put two and two together. The interesting aspect of the show, obviously, is when you're sitting at those round tables, and we'll talk about your final table in a little bit. But what's the atmosphere like as you're getting ready to sit down? What's going through your head? Are you kind of like prepared to go to battle if you have to, if it kind of comes your way? It almost felt like you never were like that guy that needed to kind of defend themselves, but any given time were you kind of prepared just in case as each time you're sitting at the table?
Yeah, so when you sit down at that table, like you can like just instantly start feeling like tension in the air. I mean, it's because like everyone knows what's about to happen, right? And everyone knows that unless someone doesn't starts it off, which was usually me of calling people out, Peter's gonna call it someone out and start it if someone else doesn't. So it's like I mean, you're immediately getting into the thickest of the thick tea, like right off the bat. And yeah, like when you were saying like, do you have to be ready to go to battle? Absolutely. Like even if you don't think you're gonna get voted out, you just have to be prepared to defend yourself because you have no idea what people say behind your back. You have no idea if the millionaire is if some if the millionaire feels that someone's on their tail, they might just randomly choose you to deflect. Oh well, so and so was doing this. So like, and you might have to defend yourself from that, which happened a lot. So yeah, you have to be ready to defend yourself. And then yes, uh, fortunately for me, I never really had to. Um, I did have to a few times that they didn't show on the show, but it wasn't like it definitely wasn't as severe as some of the other cast members had to defend themselves.
Yeah, it got pretty. It was an intense. It's almost like it was a separate game, right? You know what I mean? Because it almost felt like everybody more likely got along in so many different scenarios. But it like you sit at the table, it's like everybody has this different personality, ready to. As again, you have to be on the edge of your seat because you could be going home. After the what I call the kill shot that heard around the world, right? When Sam takes out Lydia,
Lydia, yeah.
when that happens, one of my favorite things after that kill shot, you decided to ask the question of who everybody voted for. Take me behind what triggered that so again. What was the time frame from when you're sitting there at the table to when you asked the question? What was that time frame like from start to finish, and then what made you want to do that?
Yeah, so that transition from dinner into saying that was actually pretty quick. I mean, I'd probably say within maybe 5 to 10 minutes, probably. So like I didn't have a lot of time to think. I actually kind of just it actually just popped in my head, and I just kind of said it because I was like, I mean, people were just kind of saying whatever, right? Like most of the conversations after elimination dinner are just it's sad. Like a lot of people are sad because no one wants to see someone go home. So um, and then like there was just a lot of like BS being said, and like in my head I'm like, man, what are we even doing? Let's just get to the bottom of it. If everyone says who they vote for and you put people on the spot, like someone might crack. We might find out who the millionaire is because they might slip up and say something like, I didn't know, but like I just felt like a lot of words were being said at the moment and nothing was going anywhere. So I was like, man, let's turn this up a notch and try to actually get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, and I thought it was a brilliant move. Obviously, it became the downfall of some people there. But one of the things that I thought was interesting, well, you earmarked Sam as the millionaire, right? What about her kind of triggered that emotion for you?
Well, actually, I kind of always thought Sam was kind of the millionaire from day one. So I think on the first elimination vote, pretty much everyone voted Harry. I actually voted for Sam on the first one. So like I I, I don't know. I just kind of had a hunch. It just wasn't. I didn't have like concrete evidence. So like I couldn't just like go to people and be like, I mean, I could go to people and say, hey, I think Sam's a millionaire, but I didn't have anything to back it up. So it was kind of really just like a hunch, and I don't know why I thought it was her at that time, but I just did. I don't know. I don't know. It was a gut feeling, probably. I guess I don't know.
Speaking of kill shots, obviously, you fell victim to kill shot number two. Um,
Unfortunately.
so obviously somebody's eliminated, right? And then you find out about the kill shot, and then you find out it's you. What was going through your head to see your little token come out and say, "Hey, man, you're gone"?
So if you watch back, so like going into the elimination dinner, I kind of already knew. Like I had gone over a thousand scenarios because we knew there was going to be a kill shot at elimination dinner. I was pretty confident that I wasn't going to get voted out, but I kind of was confident that I would probably get the kill shot because like I just kind of analyzed everybody and I was like, okay, oh, well, if this person's a millionaire, who are they aligned with, and who are they like? Have they had a conversation with someone recently? Have whatever happened? Like I'm taking all these factors in. I'm just like, you know, if I'm this person, who am I kill shot? And when I'm going around, like I'm kind of like, damn, like I would probably kill shot myself if I was them. So I kind of knew that it would maybe probably be me. So if you watch the show, you look at my reaction when Peter pulls out my key. Like I don't have like a big one at first. Like it's not like I think I kind of just like looks to the side or whatever. But like it wasn't like, oh my god, like because I kind of knew it was coming. So yeah, I mean I kind of I wasn't 100% I was going to get kill shot, but I had a feeling I was, so it wasn't like super surprised that it happened.
For sure. So I guess this is a fun little behind the scenes question, right? When you're eliminated, what happens next?
Okay, so basically, you immediately leave the stag. So right before the elimination dinner, so because no one knows who's going home. Like no one knows who's going home. So basically, everyone has to pack all their stuff. Everybody, because no one knows who's going home, and also because you immediately leave the stag. Like if you get voted out, you get up, walk out the elimination dinner room, immediately get your bag, and you're gone. Like literally within minutes. Uh, yeah, it's pretty quick. But whenever I got eliminated and I was leaving, so I had left the trophy room, get my bag. My room was like on the bottom level, so I'm walking up the stairs to the front door, and dude, one of the most special things that's probably ever happened to me is I'm walking up the stairs, and when I can see, there is just like 50 people standing right there, like all just like waiting by the door, and like I'm like kind of looking like what is going on, and like they all have like a lot of them have like personal written notes to me, and like I start crying, some other people start crying, and like the whole kitchen staff, the whole staff at the stag was there, production was there, producers, mic people, lighting people, wardrobe, people who like moved sets around, like literally everybody was just standing there and like and I just gave them all a hug, and it was super emotional, and it was awesome though. It was one of the most coolest experiences I've ever had in my life, and just that we weren't there super long, So, in the short amount of time that, we filmed the show in, for all these people, for us to for me to bond with all these people enough for them to like genuinely care that I got voted out and to care enough to come out and like, obviously like filming is probably still going on in the trophy room, right? So like a lot of these people probably like dropped what they were doing and then came to hug me and tell me goodbye. That was really special, man. That was a super cool moment on the show that, it was kind of behind the scenes thing.
That's awesome. I mean, I think it tells a lot about your character as well, and I love that aspect. And I think that that little story right there will nip the bud in the favorite question that I get commented all the time: is the show scripted? I don't think so, folks. That's
Not at all.
that's
Literally
everybody's favorite
nothing.
thing.
Yeah, literally nothing. And like a fun fact about that. So like halfway throughout filming, I pulled one of the producers to the side and I was like, "Hey, like, I just have a question. It's nothing to do about the gameplay or anything. I was just, I'm just curious. Like, I've never watched a reality show TV before, and but I in the back of my head, like, I'm always like, yeah, some of that's got to be scripted, right? Like, there's no way that this drama is just happening 24/7 all day, every day. But yeah, no, every nothing scripted. Like everything's raw, real. We actually lived in a house. All the food was real. Everything was real.
I like that. I like. Have you still really not tried wasabi? Have you tried it since the show?
Hell no, I ain't trying that again. I so this is what happened with that. So I had never really eaten wasabi before, and I've never had one of those drinks. So I didn't Ted, I really didn't know so I had the good one, the good tasting one. So when I tasted it, I wasn't 100% sure if it was supposed, like, I didn't know what it's supposed to taste like. So I didn't know if I had the bad or good one. So then once I realized I had the good one, whenever filming for that scene stopped and that, they were taking away that stuff and bringing the new stuff out, I was like, I actually tried the wasabi one because I wanted to see what the difference was. So I tried the wasabi drink off camera. Dude, that was a terrible experience. Like, and I took like two good sips. But like, if I would have grabbed that one in the beginning, I would have had to drink the whole thing. Dude, my stomach was on fire, bro. Like, yeah,
Just off
no,
the
no.
two sips, right?
Yeah. Kyle is not trying wasabi back up. We ain't doing that. I had enough of that for my whole life right there.
I love that. So what was it like watching it back right after you're eliminated? Now you're watching it with everybody else. What was it kind of like watching it back, seeing the final moments play out, including obviously ultimately Kara taking home the million?
Yeah, so I really, really enjoyed episode 8, watching it back. And like Kara literally played the most insane game, especially like from voting me out until the end. Like that, she played that so insane. I was so proud of her. Like watching the show back, I was like, Kara is doing the thing. Like she's doing it. And then she ends up winning too. Like I like that was awesome. I really enjoyed watching the last episode.
Yeah, it was still one of the craziest moments ever is that deadpan look of how many sisters you have, and she just says one sister, and just like
Yeah, didn't even
doesn't
skip a beat.
nothing.
Didn't even skip a beat. That was insane because that saved her.
Yeah, yeah,
That
because if
really
she
that
says
really
two,
saved her.
she's a target there.
Oh yeah.
It was insane. It was insane. All right, so I had a fun thing. I went to social media and got some questions from the social media to ask you. Let's see here. Gabby T asked, "Who do you still keep in contact with the show, and what was your reaction when you find out that Kara had was your kill shot?"
So I actually keep in contact with everybody from the show. Now, I don't talk to everybody every day, but we all still do keep in contact, and I want to keep it that way just because they're all amazing people. Like you know, I've seen people formulate some opinions about some of the cast members online from what they've seen on screen, but man, I tell you what, every single one of them off camera amazing people. They're so cool and they're so unique and special in their own ways. Absolutely love the cast and we'll continue to stay in contact with them. And I've actually hung out with a few of them so far. So and I hope I get to hang out with everybody outside the show. And so going back to what was it? Was I
You
surprised?
finding out about Kara was your kill shot.
Um honestly, I'm proud of her to be honest with you because if I was in her shoes, in those were my circumstances in that situation, I literally would have done the same thing. I would have done the exact same thing. So yeah, I was actually really proud of her for doing that, honestly, because you know I feel like that probably wasn't an easy thing for her. I mean, she was crying in her interview right after that. So yeah, and I think that was awesome gameplay. Super proud of her for doing that, and I mean, it helped her win the $1 million. So yeah, she played well.
All right, Christine Ann and then Alex Andre asked, "Are you single?" And then followed by, "Do you want to? Does he want a wife, aka me?" So that's two-part question there.
Yeah, so yes, I am single, and do I want a wife? Absolutely, I want a wife one day, dude. I mean that's one of my biggest dreams and goals of life is to have a beautiful, loving family, wife and kids. So yeah, I definitely want a wife someday. Unfortunately, I've not found her yet, but we're still looking. So
You hear that, lady? So he said slide into the DMs. All right, I do have this one's from me, right? The guy that I saw on the show, okay? And the guy that I've seen in these Instagram photos, they don't seem to be like the same person. Have we had a little bit of a like a swell up over the last, I don't know, year, or did we just not, I guess, see you shirtless enough?
oh, you're talking like physique wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a year. It's been a year since we filmed, pretty much. So, I mean, you know, I've probably gotten, yeah, I mean, a little bigger. I've been working out for a year since then, of course, but probably if I do seem a lot like if my physique seems bigger than it does now in the show, aside from having a whole year of working out since then. So, like going back to what I said before, like whenever you ask me how are my like what was going through my head and my emotions on day one. So, like I said, every emotion was on 10, right? So I ain't gonna lie to you, like the first week and a half, I barely ate anything. Like literally barely even I could barely even eat food. So yeah, I think like the first like week and a half, I lost probably like 8 or 9 pounds in a week and a half on the show. And the crazy part was is like, Chef Scott, that dude is an insane cook. Like that food that we were eating was some of the best food I've ever had in my whole life. And for the first week and a half, I could barely eat it. It didn't matter how good it was. I literally could barely eat it.
All right. So, and the funny thing about this is obviously when we have these reality shows, we have some people that are introduced to the world. And I think the ladies and the men have kind of spoken and are calling you the newest heartthrob of the Netflix reality universe. How does that feel?
Well, I mean, that actually feels really good. And the I guess like the cool thing about that is like, I'm just being myself. So like, if that's just me being myself, I think that's a pretty good compliment, man. Yeah, no, it definitely warms the heart whenever I hear people comment and kind of say stuff like that.
This is a good question, and Rocky Diggs asked about it. He says, "What do you think they could do to make season two of Million Dollar Secret better? Rules, gameplay?" Because he said he felt like it could use a little bit of work. Do you think there could be any improvements from the season from me being on it, watching it, and then possibly for a season two?
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely be improved in season two. Like just like pretty much the way I look at life, right? Like you can always improve. Nothing's perfect, nobody's perfect. I haven't really thought about specifically that a whole bunch, but I think so. Like one of my things was, especially towards the end, I never got the money, and I never got an agenda or anything. So like especially like when I opened my box for that last time and I didn't have any money, dude, I was actually pretty mad because like I wanted the money because like at that moment I was like before I opened that box I was like, dude, if I get the money right now, there's a good chance I can win this game. And look what happened. Cara ended up getting the money and she ended up winning the game from that exact same moment. So I think to spice it up, you could definitely throw in some more secret agendas, I think, that do different things. Or like another idea that I've actually seen other people comment about that I really like is a lot of people will say, like, hey, like people, either the millionaire themselves or people with the secret agendas, like, if they complete this or they do this, like they get like a money incentive or like they have like some kind of extra incentive to do things, right? So I think like, some people either didn't even try to complete their agenda or whatever. And it's like, well, if you had some incentives, possibly like money or, you know, just, some more, they probably would have done that. So I could see those few things definitely improving on, season two.
I think the one idea that I think of, I literally just thought about it as you were talking is I think if you start the show, it's $1 million secret, and like four different people have $250,000 in their briefcase. You know what I mean? Four different
Dude,
people, and then of course, if you eliminate somebody, that money moves into the three people's back, three people's, and then it just like eventually at the end, you have one person with like $1 million in their briefcase. I think that'd be a cool idea.
that concept is insane.
Yeah.
So then,
You'd have
well,
like
if you
four
did it like
different
that,
agendas, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and you'd have four millionaires.
yes.
And so like, but because then if you had it like that, right? Like, so the four millionaires would also, not only would they try to hide themselves from everybody, but they're probably also indirectly competing against the other millionaires to try to hide themselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that would be insane. I ain't gonna, Ricky, that would be insane, bro. Hey, Netflix might have to hire you, brother.
All right. So now that you are part of the Netflix reality universe, do you have your eye on any other Netflix shows?
So I don't have my eye particularly on any specific show, just because I've never watched a reality TV show before. Million Dollar Secret was the first one. But I definitely want to be on another show. That was super fun. It got me out of my comfort zone, which was a New Year's resolution for me this year. But yeah, no, I would 100% do another show. Which one? I don't specifically know at this second. I probably need to go watch them, huh? So I know which one. But no,
I
I definitely want to do another show for sure.
I think we need to see you on like maybe Perfect Match, or the one that I really think that you'd be good as Battle Camp. Battle Camp's coming out here in a few weeks.
Yes, I did see the trailer for Battle Camp, and that one looked really cool, man. And I kind of want to touch on that with Million Dollar Secret too. So one super cool thing about Million Dollar Secret, I would probably say I'm probably speaking for most of the cast when I say this as well, is it brought out that competitiveness in you that, as you get older and you become an adult and you get all these responsibilities and stuff, you don't really have that anymore. Kind of like when you had a kid and, you were maybe playing some kind of sport or hell, just even playing tag on the playground, right? Like, you always had that competitiveness and like, doing the challenges of Being Out Secret brought that out again. And it just felt so good because, you know, generally as an adult, you don't really get to feel that as much as you did, right? So yeah, Battle Camp, from watching the trailer, yeah, that looks sick. I ain't gonna lie. That looked cool.
All right, my final question for you. What is next for Kyle?
Ooh. Well, I'll put it this way. We are definitely trying to make some moves for sure. Still kind of new to all this, still soaking it all in. And all this, the attention that the socials are getting and all that stuff, still soaking it all in. But I we ain't going nowhere anytime soon. I'll put it that way.